A brief history of the Earthship here in Brisbane. I couldn't believe it, hey? My uni daughter, she says to me, "Oi, Dad, you want to come with me to see a lecture? It's about sustainable housing with this American guy." "What American guy?" says me. Actually, to be fair, he started talking about this Haiti Earthship he'd been building after the earthquake out of tyres and dirt and cans and stuff. And very impressive. And the more I looked at this thing, I could see the practical horse sense of it all. Low cost, low tech. I liked it a lot. And then when he started talking about thermal mass, warm in winter and cool in summer, just sort of made sense. And then I followed that up with watching his Garbage Warrior film, which again I found very impressive, and I suppose it's fair to say I started thinking about it all the time. Then one day I was looking over the back of my balcony and saw this 10 square meter space and thought, I could build one there. Much to the chagrin of my wife, Mrs. Dude, who didn't quite see the possibilities there. But next thing I know, I'm on Gumtree buying a concrete mixer. $90, I have to say, was an absolute bargain, by the way. And I decided to go with a concrete pad. Queensland rain is pretty heavy, and just wanted to stay above ground and dry. Anyway, a year went past. We had the pad down and filled a few tyres, but that's pretty much about it. I then started developing an online presence, so a website and Facebook, and I must admit that added to the momentum. And this guy as well, from the petrol station at Greenslopes, he was quite happy, to source, the tyres required for my build, and of course cardboard to plug the bottom of the tyre, and cans, absolute must. But those were pretty easy things to find. This is all about part of the Mike's lecture, which he talked about the importance of airflow. So you build these vents low and it swirls round the inside of the Earthship through this convection process that he talked about and exits at a roof point. And here's my friend Howie, who just installed the whirligig Skylight Perspex air vent. And volunteers, as I say, there seemed to be a healthy online interest in what I was doing, so that sort of buoyed me to keep going with it. And fun times meeting these kind of what you'd call like-minded people, I guess. We're already on the same page. We got to a point where all the tyres were packed and the lightweight wall of the bond beam was complete, ready for the bond beam pour, as they say, which has to be done in one day. And I suppose if there was a most valuable player in terms of volunteers, it would be this guy, Patrick, because on the day of the bond beam pour, he turned out to be the only one who turned up, and we were, well, let's put it this way, we knew we'd done a hard day's work after that lot. But yeah, so much appreciated to that fellow. And here's my brother Marty from Sweden, and he had an idea about how to do the boxing for the archway part of the door. There's the archway complete there, and he's actually come back on a second trip back, and he's put in the doorway frame there. and he actually did the door as well. So I'm very lucky that I got the support from so many people. I sort of was thinking about the dome roof, and I put the rebar in, but it wasn't quite right. The rebar didn't sit symmetrically, and I decided to give it a bit of time and put my energies elsewhere. So one of the jobs we needed to do was to cage wire the outside and inside of the Earthship with cage wire and then render it. And again, I got some willing hands to help me with that part of the project. I decided on trying like colours that were like browns and greens to sort of blend in with my backyard. As I say, willing volunteers. Here's the bit where we packed out the tyres with a mixture of straw, mud and flour, which was a bit of a binder. But then eventually I could not ignore the dome roof anymore, and there was all sorts of ideas about how we should approach it. But this guy here, Howie, he came up with the idea that we needed an underlayer of boxing using plywood slats, and he put that on the inside of the dome roof as a sort of again a sort of boxing, and that's what it was like, sort of pre-pour of the dome roof. And then on the actual day we had a team of people who came in to help with as I say, this pour has got to be done on the same day so it cures in the same period of time. As I say, this guy Howie in the white overalls was the overall lead on that part of the build and made sure it was all smooth. This is probably the finishing touch, which is this artificial turf which sort of deflects the direct sunlight from that the Earthship gets, makes it a bit cooler. And here's basically the 2019 finished product. These days I kind of use it as a recording studio for like-minded people who want to talk about environment or Earthships or sustainable housing. There's a bit of art from the 60s which inspires me a great deal. And here's Uncle Kev from Canberra, who was one of my first people that I interviewed, and